I never knew how to start these things off, so I'll start it off my own way. My favorite color is yellow. My lucky number is 4. I'm 14. My name is Pawluk. Most of you might be thinking, this is a bit odd or this is a bit different, but here's the kicker. I'm just like you and you're just like me. We all have problems and share tough times. Still don't get it? Welcome to my chapel speech. I grew up not like an average Canadian. I can say that. I looked at the stats. I grew up in a family that would casually call me a military brat. Flattering, I know, but it basically means my parents' job would move me all around the world. My family would constantly pack up our things and move to our new lives on the daily. As a young child, I thought it was normal. I thought everyone would casually meet new people and constantly make new friends. But it wasn't until I got older I learned it wasn't normal. I had finally noticed that I was different than most kids in my school. I was never able to say the words, "I've known you since kindergarten," or make too many memories with the kids I talk to today. A lot of you might be able to relate to that as well. But I grew up with different friends almost every birthday, and that aspect followed me throughout my entire life, thinking I was missing out on so many opportunities. That mindset stuck with me, following every move I made, and became something I started to hate about my life. Instead of feeling proud of my title, I felt ashamed. This dragged on with me throughout my entire school career. But I've also grown up with a constant shadow missing, something I felt everyone else had but me. I've lived my life without my father. I've grown up thinking without a single memory. I grew up thinking everyone was supposed to have 2 parents, a mother and a father, that I had done something wrong to not have this part in my life. I grew up with the constant reminder that every time I went to people's houses or watched TV as a kid or simply went back to school that I wasn't normal. I've spent hours trying to think of a single memory with him, but I can't. At times I felt alone. I would only wish for him to be there, but it had just been fiction. Growing up, I felt like the black sheep in my class. No, my school. No one had ever had the same experience as I. They had what I always wanted. They had no problems like mine. Since they had no problems, they wouldn't get it. No one could possibly understand, right? So I kept it to myself. Instead of talking, I listened. Instead of seeking help, I pushed it away, and it all adds up. I tried forgetting about my issues, as if a way to get rid of them. It was the wrong choice to think of my life in that way. One night, I realized things were not okay. So much in my life had been going in the wrong direction for a while. So much felt difficult. All the grief and issues I carried with me, felt as if they were coming down all at once. The people I moved away from, the absence of my father, my family on the other side of the planet, and so many other issues had piled up all at once, and I couldn't handle it. At the time, I felt every piece of my life had led up to this moment. I felt as if my life had been an array of problems just to fall apart. Every moment, every choice, every person had been placed there just to do this. I was going through so much and felt so alone, completely. So that night, I decided I wanted to do something about it. I wanted to run away and leave what my life had become. Wanting to escape when things get hard, it's a lot more common than a lot of you might think. But school, family, people around me, and general life felt like they were deteriorating in seconds, giving me more of a push, and I had no idea what I was going to do. I remember in that moment, I felt out of control, as if I could not do anything to stop what was happening except run away. I spent my evening with only my thoughts, and when alone, you make memories and thoughts tailored to that emotion. Because of how I felt at the time, I only thought about things that weren't helping. It made me worse. Yet throughout of what felt like chaos and complete silence, what felt as though I was standing on thin ice, ready to sink right through, I allowed myself to stop. I needed to leave my head. I needed to have one moment of clarity. So for 1 second, I stopped. It only took a moment, a single thought, one more chance to try something, anything to help me. I needed to get away, and I got away by plugging in my Skull Candy earbuds and taken away by my music. I realized something that night. I'd found something I'd never been looking for in the first place, my music. This music finally allowed me to take a true step back. It allowed me to be calm again, even for one moment. And that's all it took. Because in that moment, I found what my life had truly been. I looked at things a whole lot differently. Instead of feeling ashamed of my mother's job, I thought about it differently. I thought about how much she had gone through for my life to be where it is right now. She worked so hard, and she deserves to be proud. I knew and still know I can't change what happened to my father, but I don't have to forget about him. Instead, I want to celebrate him in this speech. Now I know that I can talk to people. I can speak up and tell people I'm not okay. I can speak up for myself and not wait for people to understand. Yet even though I felt like there was only one escape, Even though I felt I had no power, I felt like I could do nothing to change, I continued. I chose in that moment to walk up the stairs and stay in my room instead of out the door because I decided to see life through. I chose to continue what my life was and find a change. And as cliche as it sounds, a single moment can change your entire life. And that moment has brought me here, talking to you in this chapel, because I decided to continue and fight for my life, the life so many worked for, the life I worked for, I fought for. I decided no matter how hard it was, to continue. I continued for myself and the people around me. But my life has changed. I've learned every single person has written themselves into their own hardships and tragedy. I've learned that everyone goes through the same tough times. Look at the people to your right and your left. You've gone through things you think are too hard for others to understand, but guess what? They do. They have their own stories too, and they might even have some of the same stories, because no matter how bad or rough life gets, people will always understand. Life is continuous in a way. It's hard with tough times for everybody. Every single person in this room, full of hundreds, has gone through highs and lows in their life and felt like they were the only ones. But the only reason I'm standing here, the only reason the people to your sides and across the pews are sitting here, is that despite the difficulty, despite the things happening right now, we've all decided to continue. You are the example, just like others are to you. Living proof that right now, we've all decided to continue. We're on a stage, showing other people, no matter what hardships they're going through, we can all get through it together. We can all continue. Getting through it is sure a heck of a lot of work and determination, because you don't get a good life out of what feels like nothing. There's tough times for everyone, and it won't stop being tough. It just gets tougher. It's absolutely impossible, but it's not how it works. Life's a process. Getting help and speaking out is part of it. And as hard as it may seem right now, and as many people as you think might say it's not worth it, you're wrong, because it is. And I and everyone else can say it is. It really is, because that's the only reason we're here. Every day I think of who I would have become if I hadn't made that decision to stay. But I'm glad with who I became. But I'm glad with the person I've become. To me, a lot of you are examples. Every day passing by, no matter how hard it seems, that we can all get through this. You might not know it, but I do. And a lot of people are like that too. The people to your right and your left, again, are your examples. To you, they're the people you can relate to, not push away. They give you all the more reason to keep living this life, to not run away from it, no matter how hard it gets. But a lot of you might think of life the way I used to, that you're the problem, that it's the wrong life for you. But the only reason you're living it is that you're the only person on this earth who could handle it. It's your story to tell, to live through. It's your story to continue. Everyone has their own. So instead of thinking how problematic you are and all your faults, think of how you're the only one who gets that life. How you're the only one who gets all the good. And yes, there are bad moments, bad days, and bad years to some. But in a way, it's luck. All the possibilities in your life to be where you are had to align. It's valuable. Hundreds of people have managed to be here despite it all. Be proud. So many look up to you as confirmation so that they can continue as well. Your friends and family are your examples. The entire population on the planet Earth are your examples, as you are to them. Not too different. Just because people seem happy and living a good life doesn't mean that they haven't had their own issues. Some of the happiest people have gone through some of the most life-changing and horrible moments like the rest of us. They may just be in a good place in life right now. And just because it builds up and feels like it's falling apart doesn't mean it is. It just means it's still building up to come together, to be the life you deserve, the one you fought for. And I can't change what's already happened. But I can't change who I am, but I can continue to see what I'll become. I have friends today. Even though I was in such a dark place before, I'm proudly talking to you today with support from so many lovely people, as I am. And it's not easy to just continue. It's a giant decision, and everybody gets through it differently than others. But I'm not perfect. We never stop working on it either, but we cope somehow. For me, what got me through it was my music. No matter how I felt in the moment or how the world was making me feel, I got so lost in my music it made me forget and just simply enjoy it. In fact, it's a quality I'm still possessing today. Probably a bit too much with my earbud in my ear constantly in all my classes, but it's a force of habit. Yet it's different for everybody. Whether your coping is art, playing an instrument, Noah's little fun tasks at the bottom of his emails, or sports, everybody gets through it their own way. No matter what we deal with, no matter how we deal with it, we all deal with the hard things in life anyway. And they say the loneliest number is 1, but I disagree with that. Because I've learned it only takes one person to listen, one person to speak up, one person to act. A single person change in one moment. One person makes the biggest difference. We all understand how you've gotten to be better people and how you've gotten through tough times, because it's our story too. We're the same in the simple sense that we feel. We have emotions that build up over time. Everybody understands it and deals with it their own way. Some may be more open and supportive than others, but there's help all around you. Even all around this campus, help to talk, to express how you feel, and see that others understand how you feel as well. How you deal with them, that's your choice. But every person has tragedies to tell and stories of getting through it. They all have one thing in common. They continued. We all have the same problems and life choices with small differences, but we understand. There's so many more people here for you, like you're here for them. To the people on your left, to the people on your right, and to yourself. There's so much that you've been through, so much to come, but the only thing that matters right now to those around you is that you're still here. Please rise for hymn 460.